Pittsburgh and Arizona, certainly an unexpected pairing for the Super Bowl, but one that makes this game all the more interesting. What makes it even better is it's going to be my Super Bowl winner number 7 in a row, a release I'm 12-2-2 with over the past 16 seasons. Now, these two teams met last year in Arizona with the Cardinals pulling off the 21-14 upset as a 6-point home dog. Can the Cards pull off another stunning upset in Tampa? Or does Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger earn his 8th straight playoff cover and the Steelers improve to 6-1 straight up and against the spread in Super Bowl history? Or once again, do the Cardinals pull off the upset and extend their 4-0 straight up and ATS run? Hi guys, DeMarco here, lead handicapper and general manager of the world's largest online sports handicapping conglomerate. And my best bet on today's card is going to be my Lines Maker's Dilemma, lock of the year, and my 7th straight Super Bowl side winner on Pittsburgh and Arizona. I entered the weekend 13-3-1 with my best bets over the past 9 weeks. More about the Cardinals Steelers in a minute. But first, let's review how the season has been going from a betting perspective in Vegas. Now, as you can see, what happened in the conference championship round, of course, you had one favorite, one underdog, the underdog being the Cardinals, winning outright against the Eagles. So coming into the biggest game of the season, the underdogs, 8 games over 500. But the most impressive stat there, 88 of those 134 underdogs winning outright on the year. Now, let's take a look at some Super Bowl stats. This, of course, game number 43 when it comes to the Super Bowl. You know, only 7 times has the straight-up winner failed to cover the spread. You can see what the AFC has done lately. Of course, last year, though, undefeated New England went against that grain as the Giants knocked the Patriots off. And the favorites, impressive straight up, but subpar when it comes to covering the number in Vegas. Here's another interesting one. Pittsburgh, of course, a number 2 seed. The higher seed here in this matchup, but look at how the higher seeds have done lately. Just 1 cover, 2 pushes, and 10 losses in the last 13 Super Bowls. Now, this is also very interesting, and I think it has something to do to experience. First-time Super Bowl participants, which of course the Cardinals are, 5-11 against the spread versus experienced title game franchises. One more playoff trend for you to consider. Favorites between 7 and 9.5 points. 4-3-1 against the spread. Lifetime in the biggest game of the year. Now, for today's free pick, let's break down the Arizona-Pittsburgh game. You know, I'm 4-0 with my picks involving these teams in the postseason. I had the Steelers as best bet winners 2 straight Sundays against the Chargers and the Baltimore Ravens. And, of course, I went with the Cardinals to beat Atlanta at home, and I liked them and gave them away as a free pick right here to you against the Eagles. Very wisely, I took a pass on that Carolina-Arizona game, and you know what happened in that one. Arizona enters this one with a 4-game straight-up and ATS winning streak dating back to the final week of the regular season. Defense, and who would have thought that we would be talking about defense when it comes to the Arizona Cardinals in the postseason? But the Cardinals' defense has forced 12 turnovers, and those 12 turnovers in the 3 games, 37 points resulting on the board. No big surprise, though, because if you followed this team, statistically not great, but number 1 in the NFC in terms of takeaways with 39. Let me put that in perspective for you. You know, Baltimore gets all the cred for having the great defense forcing all the turnovers. Ravens only had 3 more takeaways than the Cardinals did this season. Now, speaking of defense, the Steelers, number 1 in the league overall, 13.9 points per game yield. 51 sacks, great pass rush, number 2 against the run, holding opposing running backs to just 3.3 yards per carry and about 80 yards a game. You know, the Steelers are 5-1 straight up and against the spread in their previous Super Bowls, and really that one ATS loss, that could have been a push. It all depends on what the closing line, well, you and I probably didn't have it, but the closing line way back in Super Bowl 13 against the Cowboys. Let's take a look now at the total in this game. It's fluctuating right around 46.5, 47 points. You know, the Cardinals have gone over in 5 of their last 6, 7 of their last 9, 13 of their 19 games this season. No big surprise. They're 35-16 over the number over the past 3 years. Kurt Warner, of course, in that offense with Larry Fitzgerald and company, they put a lot of points on the board. Problem with Arizona backers, as you know, their defense is pathetic. 28th in the league in terms of scoring defense, giving up 26.6 points a game. Meanwhile, the Steelers, everybody talks about their defense, and of course I just did too, but let's acknowledge that they can put points on the board. You know, 7 times this year, they have put 26 or more points on the board, and they played a far tougher schedule than Arizona did. in terms of total tips for the Super Bowl, last 4 games have stayed under the number, but you can see Pittsburgh has been a very good team over the total in the postseason. Meanwhile, once again, you see what the Cardinals did, as we discussed earlier. They are definitely a team that trends over the posted price. Highest scoring game in Super Bowl history, in case you're hit with a trivia question, it was Super Bowl 29. Chargers and 49ers combining for 75 points. This one's not coming anywhere close to that total, I can tell you that right now. However, I do think the over is the play in this game. You know, the Steelers were 5-1 over the number versus good passing teams this year. The Texans, Jaguars, the Colts, one of their games against the Chargers went over, and the Patriots. Why buck the trend? Take the over once again in this contest. Now, I'm backing the over as my free pick, but the best bet on today's card is going to be my Line Maker's Dilemma lock of the year between Pittsburgh and Arizona, my 7th straight Super Bowl side winner. And I enter the weekend 13-3-1 with NFL best bets over the past 9 weeks. An NFL run of 26-11, 264 dimes of profit. Can the Cardinals' miraculous playoff run continue? Does Ben Roethlisberger earn his 8th straight playoff cover? The answers are yours with my 12th straight NFL 15-dime winner and my 7th straight Super Bowl winner, exclusively available online. Now, one more piece of advice for you before I go. Biggest mistake that gamblers make when it comes to the Super Bowl, they treat it as the biggest bet of the year. Guys, I'm here to tell you, 25 years in this business, I know for a fact this is just another game. You know, generally, you don't get any line value in the Super Bowl because after all 2 weeks of hype with the media, well, the line is as sharp as possibly can be. Personally, I like big cards on the college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, because I can find overlooked game. I like to concentrate the most where the odds makers concentrate the least. That is not the case in the Super Bowl. The other problem with the Super Bowl, there are 3 types of gamblers that bet on the Super Bowl. Number 1, you're the diehard. You play every single week of the season. Number 2, you played earlier in the year, got buried, now you're back for the biggest game of the year and you're trying to get all your losses back in one big bundle. And the third is the casual player. You come out of the woodwork once or twice a year for the BCS title game, for the Super Bowl, and here's the problem with those 3 types of gamblers. The first of you, the regular player, well, you know what you're doing. The latter 2, you're most likely going to get in a deep financial abyss from which there is no escape because you don't know how to bet this game. Again, to me, this is another 15-dime play, just as strong as my previous 11 winners. This Super Bowl, and from a betting perspective, is no bigger than any other game on a Saturday night or the 3rd Thursday in the NFL season. Sure, it's stronger than my 10-dime winner in Florida over Oklahoma in the BCS title game, and yes, it's my 7th straight Super Bowl winner too, so play it, enjoy it, but don't ever bet more than you can afford to lose. I've been saying it for 25 years, guys. This is #1 golden rule of gambling. Never bet more than you can afford to lose. You shouldn't be playing with your mortgage money or funds are earmarked to put food on your table either. This is entertainment, and you should treat it as such. No more preaching from me. Let the games begin. Make sure you check out my daily blog as well online for my Super Bowl insights.